A woman's hand gently caresses a man's bare chest. She smiles softly in her sleep, then wakes up with a long stretch. A sharp pain makes her wince. She sits up, confused. Then her eyes widen in shock. A man is sleeping beside her. She clutches the blanket to her chest, her mind racing. A memory flashes. The girl studying late at night in a library. Back in the present, she grabs her phone from the nightstand. Her face falls as she reads a message. The words on the screen are a brutal rejection. A second memory hits her. The girl, dressed as a delivery driver, offers a gift box to her boyfriend. He smirks, rejecting it. He throws the box into a puddle, then touches her cheek condescendingly before walking away, leaving her heartbroken in the rain. She cries out his name, defeated. Back in the present, the girl's expression shifts from heartbreak to dawning horror. A third flashback. She confronts a handsome man in a suit, pushing him. He grabs her, they stumble onto a bed. He leans over her, kissing her forcefully. In the present, she stares at the sleeping man beside her, thunderstruck. It's the same man from the flashback, the boyfriend's powerful uncle. The girl panics, realizing the gravity of her actions. The uncle stirs. Sitting up, he adjusts his glasses. His gaze intense, he gestures towards the door, where a line of servants suddenly appears. The girl screams silently, terrified. He's calling security. She throws the blanket over his head, tackling him back onto the bed. He looks at her, completely unfazed. She stares back, their faces inches apart, a mixture of fear and fascination in her eyes. The uncle stares down at the girl, a flicker of confusion in his eyes. An assistant bursts into the room, his face a mask of pure terror. He screams for disinfection. Maids rush in with spray bottles, frantically spraying the air around the bed. The assistant panics, reminding the uncle of his severe allergy to women. He orders them to throw out everything the girl has touched. Maids begin clearing priceless vases and decor. The uncle calmly gets dressed amidst the chaos, his assistant helping him with his jacket. The assistant points an accusing finger at the girl, urging his boss to call the police. The uncle ignores him. Taking the small potion bottle from a staff member, he examines it thoughtfully. The girl grabs the assistant's arm, begging, but the uncle holds up the bottle, his expression cold. He gives a nod, and the maids seize the girl, dragging her away despite her struggles. Just as they reach the door, an elegant older woman with a cane enters, silencing the room. The staff bows deeply. The woman's stern expression melts into a warm smile as she sees the girl. The uncle steps forward to explain, but his mother cuts him off. The assistant tries to intervene, but she shuts him down with a single word. The mother looks at the girl with approval, then turns to her staff. She gives a shocking command, sending them to get married immediately. The girl's jaw drops, utterly stunned. The girl quickly changes her tune, flashing a bright smile. She launches into a long, confusing speech about marriage, leaving everyone baffled. The mother, however, seems to understand. She declares that the girl is simply shy, and announces she will host a grand party the next evening to celebrate the engagement. The mother laughs joyfully. The girl tries to protest, but the uncle grabs her arm. He gives her an ultimatum: marry him or go to jail. She freezes, then smiles sweetly and agrees, wrapping her arms around his neck. Later, the uncle sits alone in a dark room, smoking a cigar. 2 marriage certificates sit on the table beside him. His assistant enters, reporting that the girl was engaged to his nephew, but the nephew broke it off to become his heir. The uncle remains stoic, claiming his only concern is his mother's happiness. The assistant reminds him of a past tragedy, but the uncle is unmoved. A maid enters, announcing the girl is ready. He looks up as she appears, stunning in a white evening gown. She walks towards him, a soft smile on her face. He adjusts his glasses, his gaze fixed on her, their images overlapping in a haze of smoke and light. The girl approaches the uncle, who sits impassively. She stumbles, falling into his lap. She runs her hand over his chest, a seductive smile on her face. He stops her, his voice cold. She flinches, then scrambles off him and falls to the floor. Mortified, she tries to explain her clumsiness. The uncle stares at her, his expression unreadable. Suddenly, he snaps his fingers. A line of maids enters, carrying trays laden with gold bars, priceless jewelry, and designer handbags. The girl's eyes widen in disbelief. The assistant explains that these are all gifts for her. He points out a solid gold bowl once owned by an emperor. The girl gasps, taking the bowl with trembling hands. She clutches it to her chest, a look of pure ecstasy on her face. Then, her expression shifts. She sets the bowl down, her face now a mask of determination. She turns to the uncle and declares she doesn't want any of it. He raises an eyebrow, intrigued. She looks him straight in the eye and asks for a stable job and materials to study for her civil service exam. The uncle and his assistant stare at her, completely dumbfounded. The uncle coolly tells the girl that her only job is to be his wife. She fumes, demanding social security benefits. But the assistant tries to placate her with promises of wealth. She scoffs, declaring that a stable job is more valuable than being a rich man's wife. Later, she checks her phone and sees a message from her ex-boyfriend. He's at a bar, drunk, and offers her a chance to get back together if she brings him hangover soup. She scoffs at his audacity. Meanwhile, the ex-boyfriend is at a pool hall with his friends, bragging about how devoted the girl is to him, and how he's about to inherit a fortune. His friends toast to his success. They tease him about the upcoming party where his adoption will be announced. The ex-boyfriend laughs, confident in his future. He calls the girl and she answers with a seductive voice, pretending to be with another man. The ex-boyfriend is stunned into silence. Hanging up in a rage, his friends mock him, but he insists she's bluffing, confident she'll come crawling back. In her room, the girl celebrates her prank, jumping gleefully on the bed. Suddenly, she freezes. The uncle is standing in the doorway, watching her with an unreadable expression. The girl stares in horror as the uncle catches her phone. He stands over her, holding it out. She nervously asks if he heard anything. He confirms that he did, agreeing she's a genius. The girl panics, thinking her image is ruined. She tries to play it off as vocal exercises, but he sees right through her. She fakes a coughing fit and then feigns dizziness, quickly diving under the covers. He watches her for a moment, then turns to leave. She peeks out from under the blanket, relieved, but he stops. He turns back, his gaze intense, and tells her she's lying on his blanket. She freezes, then quickly explains she's just warming it up for him. He walks over, sits on the edge of the bed, and gets under the covers next to her. She lies stiffly beside him, assuring him she won't try anything. He remains silent, his expression unreadable. She eventually falls into a restless sleep, dreaming of studying for her exam. She wakes up with a start. Sitting bolt upright, she looks around the empty bed, confused. Then her eyes widen as she looks to the side. The girl cautiously enters the uncle's study. Awestruck by the vast collection of books, she spots a framed photo on a shelf. It's the uncle with a beautiful woman. As she reaches for it, his hand clamps down on her wrist. He spins her around, pinning her against the bookshelf. His eyes are cold. He grabs her by the neck, then ties her hands with a handkerchief. She tries to explain, but he cuts her off, warning her not to touch anything in the room. He reveals that everything belonged to his late sister and the study is off limits. He releases her and turns away, but then stops her again. He tells her that everything in the mansion is hers to explore, except for this room. She nods, shaken, and quickly leaves. The uncle watches her go. A flicker of regret in his eyes later, the assistant brings him a tray with a glass of water and a bottle of sleeping pills, explaining that the uncle suffers from severe insomnia. In his study, the uncle stares at the photo. A painful memory flashes back. He rushes into a room to find his sister bleeding on the floor. A crying baby in a nearby crib, he cradles her in his arms. But it's too late. She begs him to take care of her baby before she dies. He clutches her lifeless body, sobbing, as the baby continues to cry. The assistant brings the uncle his sleeping pills, but the uncle is lost in thought. Staring at the photo of his sister, he asks if the girl was upset when she left the study. The assistant assures him she wasn't, but then nervously adds that she seems like a good girl. Despite her actions, the uncle's expression remains unreadable. The next day, the girl is happily tending to a collection of potted plants. The maids watch her with disdain. She proudly holds up a pair of scissors, declaring the first rule of the workplace is to please the boss. Just then, the uncle and his assistant enter. She quickly grabs a pot of flowers and presents it to him. She explains that she noticed the house lacked flowers and brought some to help with his insomnia. She leans in and whispers that insomnia can lead to baldness and dementia. The assistant quickly intervenes, explaining that the uncle's mother has severe asthma and can't be around flowers. The girl is mortified, but the uncle calmly tells her to keep the one she's holding. She beams, thanking him profusely. Thanking him profusely. He then hands her a black card, telling her it's her allowance and that he will arrange for her social security benefits. She takes the card, her eyes wide with shock. He turns and leaves, and she calls out a cheerful goodbye, clutching the flower pot and the credit card. A triumphant smile on her face. The assistant smiles at the girl, explaining that since the uncle's sister passed away, he has forbidden anyone from changing anything in the house. Her simple act of bringing in flowers is the first change in years. The maids smile, agreeing that she's a lucky charm. The assistant then reminds her of the party that evening, her official debut into high society. He offers to have designers bring over dresses and jewelry, and a rack of stunning gowns is wheeled in. The girl's eyes widen, but she's still focused on her goal. At the lavish party, guests mingle and gossip about the uncle's sudden decision to adopt an heir, speculating about his allergy to women and the massive inheritance at stake. The ex-boyfriend is there, basking in the attention. The girl arrives in a stunning white gown. Stepping out of a luxury car, the assistant greets her, explaining that the uncle is delayed at the airport. She enters the party, turning heads as she walks through the crowd. The ex-boyfriend stares at her, his glass frozen mid-air, completely shocked to see her there. The ex-boyfriend approaches the girl, smirking. He taunts her, assuming she's there to win him back. He mocks her for sleeping with another man, but she just stares at him blankly, then calmly calls him a scumbag. He's taken aback, then angry, reminding her of his powerful new status. She fires back, questioning his loyalty to his own father. He's momentarily stunned, then dismisses her, claiming he's too important to argue with her. He continues to taunt her, but she cuts him off with a witty retort. He orders security to throw her out. Just as the guards grab her, the uncle's voice booms through the hall, stopping them in their tracks. The girl falls to the floor, looking up in surprise. A phalanx of bodyguards enters, clearing a path. The uncle walks in, carrying a small girl in his arms. The ex-boyfriend approaches the uncle, laughing. He tries to blame the girl for causing a disturbance, but the uncle cuts him off, his voice dangerously low. The ex-boyfriend nervously points to the girl. The uncle kneels down, gently taking the girl's hand and helping her to her feet. He brushes off her dress, then announces to the stunned crowd that she is his new wife. The ex-boyfriend's jaw drops. The uncle puts his arm around the girl, and the little girl runs to hide behind them. The girl smirks, relishing the moment. The other guests whisper in shock, questioning the uncle's sudden marriage. The ex-boyfriend approaches them, still in disbelief, questioning the uncle's lifelong vow of celibacy. The uncle coldly informs him that he's never met him before, and has no intention of adopting him. The little girl then chimes in, calling the ex-boyfriend an old man who wants to be her uncle's son. The crowd erupts in laughter. The uncle looks down at the girl, a hint of a smile on his face. As she looks back at him, her expression unreadable. The uncle places a protective hand on the girl's waist. A guest questions the purpose of the party, but the uncle announces that the evening is to introduce his new wife. He takes her hand, and she looks down, a small smile playing on her lips. The uncle then addresses the rumors about him adopting an heir, declaring them false. The ex-boyfriend stares in disbelief. He approaches the uncle, still clinging to the hope of being adopted, but the uncle cuts him down with a cold threat, warning him to stay away from his wife.